With WebFOCUS 9.3.8, you can now deliver mission-critical reports automatically to the cloud applications and collaboration channels that business teams use every day. Let's take a look at a few of the newer distribution capabilities of ReportCaster 9.3. When you choose the schedule option, it will show you all of the available distribution capabilities in your environment. Let's select Microsoft Teams for this particular exercise. You can configure multiple Teams workspaces, and then you can choose the one of interest to you. Once you choose the workspace, then select the team and or the channel that you want to distribute to. Make sure to select the recipients. You can also choose to select, distribute this to an individual. So you can put in the name of the individual and add that individual to the list of recipients. So that's how you can distribute to both an individual as well as to an entire channel. So for this example, let's also just set a recurrence of once and then go ahead and save our schedule. I just call this test teams. Run the schedule, and then we can look at the logs to ensure that the job has completed. So it's still running, and yes, it has completed. Now let's switch over to Microsoft Teams. And I chose to distribute this to the sales teams channel. So when I go to sales teams, you can see that here's the report that was just sent to me. I can go ahead and click on it and view my report. But for this particular distribution, I also send this to an individual besides a channel. So this, when I send it to an individual, it actually shows up under chats. I've got an indication notice of a chat. So there is my chat. This report came from the administrator. And once again, I can open to see the content. So support for both channel distribution as well as distribution to an individual in Teams. The next example I want to show you is distribution to SharePoint. Let's take a look at this particular schedule. This is a report that I'm sending. This is not a burst report. And for distribution, I've chosen the Microsoft SharePoint option. Just as in Teams, you can have multiple SharePoint profiles in your ReportCaster configuration. Select the profile of interest, the URL, and if you want to send it to a specific folder, you can give the folder a name. And in this case, I've chosen to send this as a zip file. So let's go ahead and run this report. While the report is running, I want to show you the report that we've actually scheduled. This is a PDF, compound PDF document. It's got a table of contents. I've got multiple regions. And you can see that for each section of the table of content, I can switch to a specific region and or report. So back to our SharePoint distribution, let's see if our job is completed. Now let's switch over to SharePoint to look at the data. I chose to distribute this to the data folder, and there is my sales zip report. Because it's a zip file, I can't really view it, but I can download this and then open the content of my zip folder. I have a second schedule that I created. For the second example, I've actually chosen to burst this. Let's take a look at this schedule. The difference is for the task, you'll notice I have the burst checked. And for the distribution, the only change I made is now I've chosen to create a newer folder. I've got, if you notice, percentage regions. So this is where all of the burst content is going to be distributed. Again, I'm sending this as a zip file. So let's go ahead and run this schedule and view the content of this burst process that I'm sending a compound PDF document to a SharePoint site. The job is still in progress. And when it is completed, we can switch and look at the SharePoint. So the first example, we sent it to this folder called data. Notice now I've got a new folder, data regions, And now I have an individual zip file for each of the business regions. So again, I can take a look at this. Since it's a zip file, let's download to ensure that this is indeed only a subsection of the larger report that was sent. So let's open this. This is for the North America region. And my table of contents is much smaller. And you can see that all I'm getting is the North American section of the larger document. So all of the bursting capabilities that you have with ReportCaster is available for the newer distribution channels as well. Just as we saw the schedule option here that showed me all of the distribution capability, if I go to the hub and start something new and try to create a schedule, here too, when I go to distribution, the exact same configured options are available. One thing you'll notice is I've got something called messaging. So in messaging is where I can have the messaging for both Teams to Slack and Google Chat. So I have, again, under messaging, the different messaging channels that I may want to distribute to. Thank you.